Hello and welcome to lesson 2 of 4 on our photosynthesis topic. We're going to look at the two stages of photosynthesis today. So our learning intentions, I've split into two groups, one for each stage. I want you to be able to describe the light reaction stage of photosynthesis. So this is stage 1. The two sub bullet points within that and then is describe what happens to water in stage 1 and name the two products which move from stage 1 to stage 2. In the second stage, it's called carbon fixation. I want you to describe what happens during the carbon fixation stage. Okay, so let's get into it. First of all, the light reactions stage. Okay, so first of all, you need to know the name of this stage. That could be an exam question. Last lesson, we looked at these plant cells. We talked about plant cells have a cell wall and inside they have chloroplasts. The green pigment inside the chloroplast is chlorophyll. And remember, its job is to trap the light energy from the sun, which is required for the light reaction stage. Okay, so what's happening here? We talked about Einstein before and about energy changing states. In the light reactions, we're taking light energy trapped by the chlorophyll and we're converting it into chemical energy. Okay, now that chemical energy, all biology talks about chemical energy, so our food's chemical energy and our cells have chemical energy. In living things, this chemical energy can be turned into a molecule called ATP. The ATP is also chemical energy. It's how our cells store energy until we need it. Okay, so this isn't a living thing. This is just a molecule. You don't need to know its proper name. Just call it ATP. It's found in all cells. The more ATP you have, the more energy you have. When you start exercising, your body starts making more ATP. When you get tired, you run out of ATP. So that's ATP. You'll learn more about this when we do respiration in Unit 1 Cell Biology. But for now in photosynthesis, light energy is used to make chemical energy, which is used to generate ATP. Okay, that is the light reaction stage. So what is our final product here? It's not light energy, that's what we're using. Our final product is ATP. Okay, so light reactions, first product we've learnt about is the light energy is used to make ATP. Okay, water is also involved in the light reactions. Water is H2O, as you see there in the picture, because water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. So if we press play on this, we can see the water travelling through the xylem up to the leaves. And when it reaches the leaves, the light energy is used to split the water. The water is getting split from H2O into oxygen, which is released, and hydrogen, which we require for photosynthesis. So, in the light reactions, water is split into hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen diffuses out of the cell and then actually out of the leaf via the stomata pores. The hydrogen, importantly, moves to the second stage. So, the second stage we call the carbon fixation stage. Again, you need to know the name of this. So the first stage is called the light reaction stage. It's about light energy being used to split water and to generate ATP. The carbon fixation stage then is a series of chemical reactions. And these chemical reactions are controlled by something called an enzyme. Now you won't learn more about enzymes until we do Unit 1, but for now you just need to know a chemical reaction is changing something from A to B and the enzyme speeds this up. So imagine carbon fixations like these arrows, a bunch of chemical reactions are happening. Okay, so the reaction changes one substance to another, so the black to the red, to the yellow to the blue, back round again in this cycle. These molecules, called enzymes, so they're not living things, they're just molecules found in cells. They are biological catalysts. This means they speed up the reaction, so the reaction can be faster. So what's actually happening here? Well, first of all, you need to know, remember the learning intentions, the products from stage 1 which move to stage 2. So that's our ATP, our energy from stage 1. And the H stands for the hydrogen. Where did the hydrogen come from? It came from the water, which is split in stage 1. So we've got ATP and hydrogen coming from stage 1. That goes into the chemical reactions in the carbon fixation stage. Now we need to know our other raw material. Can you remember the other raw material of photosynthesis? So water's already been used in stage 1. What's the other raw material from the word equation we did last lesson? Another clue would be this is called the carbon fixation stage. And that's because our other raw material is carbon dioxide. So fixation basically means they're taking this hydrogen and they're joining it with the carbon and the oxygen and the carbon dioxide to make glucose. And because it's a synthesis reaction, that requires energy, and that's what the ATP is there for. So the ATP is used to provide energy to join the hydrogen, the carbon, and oxygen together, and that's you got glucose. Okay, so that is our carbon fixation stage, stage 2. So again, how do we learn this? So last lesson we talked about how you need to be motivated, you need to be paying attention. Maybe you have to rewind and go back over this video a few times. Try and relate it to previous lessons. So we're trying to build on the word equation we learnt last day. We're trying to build on our knowledge of the raw materials and that word equation to think about what's actually happening in stage 1 and stage 2. So stage 1 is about the water, stage 2 is about the carbon dioxide. Go ahead, try and read it out to yourself, try and say it to yourself with your jotter shut, try and teach somebody else, try and do some questions on it. So we can maybe do a drawing of the light reaction stage. We start off with the light energy, the sun. Draw an arrow, this light energy is being used to split water, okay? So the water has been used, the light energy has been used to split the water. The water is split into two things. So water's H2O, it's split into oxygen, which is a byproduct, it's released from the leaf, and it's split into hydrogen. What else happens then? We're also using the energy to generate ATP. And the hydrogen and the ATP move to stage 2 from stage 1. Try and make your own questions about stage 2, okay? So these are like starter prompts. Pause the video now. Go ahead, look at the notes and try and rewind the video. Make up your own questions, okay? For example, it could be what happens to the carbon dioxide or what happens to the water. What is the role of the chlorophyll? What is the role of the ATP? Okay, where does the ATP come from? Describe what happens when you have carbon dioxide, water and ATP. Okay, what is the role of enzymes? So make up your own questions here is a good way of learning this information. And then you can tell if you've passed the learning intentions. So can you describe the light reaction stage? Can you picture that image in the last slide, the drawing, and can you put that into a sentence? Can you describe the two products which move from stage 1 to stage 2? Can you describe what happens to water in stage 1? Can you describe the carbon fixation stage? Pause now and see if you can, and when you're ready to see if you were correct, press play. I'll give you the answers. So what you should now know, stage 1 is called the light reaction stage. Light energy is trapped by chlorophyll in the chloroplasts, okay? And remember your palisade mesophyll layer of the leaf from S3 has all those chloroplasts. Light energy is used to split water into oxygen and hydrogen. The oxygen diffuses out of the cell, so that's why it's a product in your word equation, but the hydrogen moves to stage 2. An energy molecule called ATP is also generated in stage 1. The ATP also moves to stage 2. So light reactions is about light energy being trapped by chlorophyll, and it's about water being split into oxygen and hydrogen, and about ATP being generated. Stage 2 is called the carbon fixation stage. It's a series of enzyme-controlled chemical reactions. The hydrogen and ATP from stage 1 are joined with the gas carbon dioxide. When this happens, it makes a simple sugar called glucose. And that is the end of lesson 2.